So you got the offer. You accepted the offer. You negotiated hard. You did everything I suggested. You asked for a little bit more. You had a cushion. You got the money. They bought out your bonus. You have some extra vacation days. You're getting some stock. You're like, yeah. Then you go in, and in this instance, let's say you're currently employed. You go in and tell your boss. And don't tell your boss until you got the letter, everything is signed and sealed. You want to make sure everything is done. Everything is done. You never want to say, hey, I have another offer, I'm leaving, until it's absolute. Absolute. Because otherwise, something can happen. So make sure with a company that is airtight, pass the drug test if they give a drug test, pass a background check if they give a background check. All the I's are dotted, all the T's are crossed. Wait for that. A lot of times they'll tell you, yeah, don't worry, let them know, that's okay. Yeah, easy for them to say. Try to get everything. Make sure everything is fine. Drug test is okay. If they give drug tests, that the background check, if they do that, that's okay. Whatever internal stuff they have to do is okay. And they sign off on it, let you know you could resign. You resign, which is super uncomfortable. When you're doing this, even if you hate your boss and hate your company and hate all the people, once you're resigning, it's not comfortable. It's not easy. You have to basically, it's like breaking up a relationship. Even if it's a bad relationship, I'm so glad to get rid of that person, get out of this. There's still that tinge of loss, especially if you spend a lot of time with this company and these people. In fact, what's going to happen is this too. You're going to start doubting your decision. You're going to start thinking, that guy who always took my lunch and said it was by mistake? You know that person who always talked loudly on the phone with his family and it was really annoying? You know that person who was always dashing out for lunch and come back 2 hours later and I'd have to cover? You start thinking, maybe they weren't so bad. And then you start thinking, you know what, I kind of did some stuff too that maybe they weren't happy with. And then you think of your boss and say, maybe person's not so bad after all. I kind of like it here. And because you're getting these doubts, you're getting these reservations of, all right, did I make the right decision? Then you start thinking, wait, especially you're going to hear from everybody now, your family, friends. Did you ask him this? Hey, did you ask him about that? Did you ask him about something else? And then you're like, no, I didn't. Oh, I didn't. And then you start getting nervous. Oh, I did. Hey, did you hear that? Did you hear whatever about the company? Like, no, I didn't. What? So you go from elation and excitement to now, yikes! You're getting scared. You're getting worried. You're getting nervous. You're having some second doubts. You're questioning your judgment. And on top of that, you need to go into the office, set up an appointment with your boss and say, after being together for 10 years, I'm leaving. And now you think, maybe you know what? Maybe I would have done the same thing, she did as a boss. And maybe I shouldn't have been so critical about it. Here's what I would suggest. It's normal and rational to have all those feelings. It probably would be irrational if you went skipping into your boss's office and said, hey, I'm out of here, bye, later, give him the middle finger and run out. It probably would be weird. That'd be kind of the chance. You're in this spot that's super uncomfortable, so it's normal to feel this way. It's like a relationship that's ended. We don't talk about it, but that's what it is. You're breaking up. And there's baggage. And you're going into the unknown. You're going somewhere where you haven't been. You know where you are. You're comfortable with you are. Maybe you don't love it, but you know the people. You know all their quirks. You know all the bad stuff. You know the good stuff. But now you're going to go into the unknown, uncharted territories. I mean, the people, the company seem nice, but I only met them for 15, 20 minutes each, half an hour each? Can you really get to know someone? Did I make a mistake? These are going to be racing through your mind, and it's natural. Take a breath, take a step back, and then rethink and make sure, why are you leaving? Separate the memory, separate this feeling you have now of, not so bad, but no, wait. Here's why I wanted to leave. because they still are going to be valid. It's not going to change in one day now that you got the offer. You're not getting the raises, you're not getting promotions, you're not getting the bonuses you wanted. There's not a track to success. The boss is toxic. The boss doesn't have any interpersonal skills. The coworkers are always gossiping and stabbing people in the back. The company's not doing well. So you don't want to get sentimental based on things that really weren't that way. You look at it and go, you know what? Yeah, that's why I'm leaving. And then you look at the company you're going to and you say, okay, yeah, maybe I just met them for 10, 15, 20, maybe a half an hour each. But you can judge character. You can tell, because these interviews are a lot of back and forth. Plus, I'm going to get more money, a higher title. There seems to be advancement. There's growth. There's the whatever other reasons why you selected that company and that job. And then kind of remind yourself of that. Because it's easy to let fear take over. And there's something called taking the path of least resistance. The path of least resistance would be get nervous, get scared, get cold feet, and just stay. Because then you don't have that, in your stomach, I'm doing something new, I'm scared. You don't have that. You just stay, and it's like, all right. And then you make an excuse why you stayed, and you'll talk yourself into it was the right decision. But if you're a smart person, you didn't just get a job like that in this market. It probably took a long time, interviewing with a lot of people, meeting a lot of folks, thinking about it a lot, discussing it a lot. So you had time, I'd bet for the most part, before you made that decision, before you got the offer. When you go into the boss, what you have to do is it's like ripping off a bandaid. Let them know that you want to have a conversation and just be direct and say, hey, I just want to let you know, you don't want to be overly dramatic, but it's with a heavy heart that I have to tell you I've accepted another offer somewhere else and I'm tendering my resignation. Boom, just get it out. No dancing around it, talking about, hey, what about the Giants? What did you think of the game last week? Or, hey, politics, right? Everything is crazy. No, just go right in. Band-Aid, rip it right off. Hey, I want to thank you for everything you've done. I've learned so much under your tutelage. I've grown as a professional. I value our relationship. I'd be glad to help you out in the interim. I'm going to give my 2 weeks. I'll be glad to help, be here for 2 weeks, do whatever you need. If you're going to hire someone to replace me, I'll work with that other person, show them the ropes. Plus, once I'm at the new company, my door will be open. If that person wants to call me, if you want to call me, if you need help, I'm there. So you want to be courteous, respectful. No, you don't want to burn any bridges. If you had a bad relationship, you don't want to say, no, I'm going to give it to him. No, all good. Even if you didn't like the person, even if you hated the person, there's nothing to gain by burning bridges, because in the future, when you need references, you want that person as a reference. You want to be the bigger person. Thank you very much. I appreciate everything you've done for me. I've learned so much. I've grown as a professional. I'm so glad I had this opportunity. Thank you so much for everything you've done. But it is time to leave. I really don't see the growth potential. Then you can also say something like this. Because people, when you tell the boss they're going to feel you were cheating on them, again with like the relationship analogies, that you're cheating on them, that means every time you may have, now they're going to start thinking, every time you said, hey, I got a doctor's appointment, I had this, that you were lying and you're really going on interviews. And they start getting a little resentful. So you could say, hey, I wasn't actively looking for a role because I was generally happy here and doing well and loved everybody. Got a call from a recruiter from the company. I guess they saw me on LinkedIn, heard about me by reputation, and said, hey, would you like to talk? And I thought, can't hurt by having a conversation. We had a conversation, and before you know it, we really bonded. There's growth opportunity. I know where I am here, it's going to take me 5 years to get to the next level. I'm going to get to the next level in 2 weeks. Plus, the money is great. The people are awesome. So please respect my decision. I thank you. I could not have got this for you. I wasn't planning on it. I wasn't running out for interviews. I haven't interviewed other places. This just came, it fell into my lap, and it was just one of those things that just came across and it happened. And I'm sorry. I know you need the help. And as I mentioned, I'll do everything I can in the interim to make your life easier, to make the transition easier. Including once I'm there, I'd love to keep in touch with you. I think you're a great person. I want to keep this relationship. And I think I'm glad to help so you don't have to feel that you're struggling with while you're waiting to hire someone new. So you see what I'm doing there? You're doing everything polite, respectful, no burning bridges, keeping it open. So 3 years from now, if you need a reference, that person, presumably, if you're not a jerk, will give you a reference and say nice things about you. Plus, it never hurts to keep those doors open because you never know. In a lot of industries, they're very small and very incestuous, where you go from one company to another company, back to the other company, to this company, so everyone starts knowing each other. So there's really nothing to gain by leaving on a bad term and getting a bad reputation, or they may get ticked off and say things negative about you. There's no upside to that. So you want to be a complete professional about it and overly polite and courteous so there's no misunderstandings. Now, what happens sometimes is that you'll get a counteroffer. You're going about, now in your mind, you're going to that next company. You're ready to go. Pack your bags, pack your stuff. You're still doing your work because you're a professional, but mentally you're kind of checked out. Then they say, hey, can you come into my office? And you go to your office and you see an HR person there, your boss, your boss's boss, and then they put the pressure on. Because maybe you really were doing a great job and you were fairly indispensable, and now you're leaving, they're freaking out. And they don't know how and when they could find somebody new. But let's say this is taking place right before the holidays, and they realize there's not a lot of people looking for a job during the holidays, even in the hot markets and good times. So this could take a long time. And they feel it's easier. They're going to say, hey, we were going to give you a raise anyway. So why not just give the raise now in terms of extra money and try to keep the person? So they'll come in and they'll give you a counteroffer. The odds are the counteroffer would be okay. Usually it's not enormous. Sometimes it could be pretty substantial, depending upon the market, your skills, how hard it is to replace. But let's say it's a reasonable increase. Then you're like, oh man. Try to keep your cool and just say, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'll definitely consider it. Let me think about it, but I don't want to give any promises because I didn't make a commitment to that other company. And I don't really want to go back on my word, but I respect you. I respect the company. So I owe it to you to at least think about it. So I can't make any promises, but I'm going to think about it. It's important you say that because, again, you want to keep the relationships. You don't want to storm out. You don't want to say, oh, so now you give me the money. Now that I'm leaving, you're going to pay me. So you're going to give me an extra 10 grand. Now that I'm leaving, you couldn't give it to me before. It's easy to get pretty ticked off. No, don't do that. Just be very respectful. Hey, thank you. I'm really honored and humbled that you care about me to have me stay here and offer more money. Thank you. Let me think about it. But as I mentioned, I gave my word to that other firm, and I would feel uncomfortable reneging on it. But I do owe it to you to at least think about it. My take on counteroffers is this. If they really liked you and wanted you, they would have taken care of you already. It shouldn't be that you either threaten to leave or you do leave, that then they wake up and say, okay, here's more money. It's almost kind of insulting. It's like they could have done it before. They should have done it before. Especially if you've asked them before and they didn't. Like I've mentioned in a lot of these other Masterclass sessions, you got to judge the environment you're in. It's not a one-size-fits-all. If, let's say, you were always asking for a promotion, a raise, and denied, and now they're giving you more money, then it's like, really? Come on. If it's something different, then then you have to think about it. Oftentimes, what I've seen personally over the years is that when you take a counter offer, it usually doesn't work. And here's why. It's a short-term thing. You're leaving, they're freaking out, there's going to be an empty seat, there's a lot of work to be done. Maybe some people don't know how to do that work, and they need you right here, right now. So they're going to say or do anything. It's like a relationship. Please don't leave, I'll change. Here's flowers, here's candy, I'll be a better husband, boyfriend, whatever. Sorry, I didn't know you felt this way. It's like that. Oh, I'll be different. I didn't realize it. That's what the company's doing. they're waking up to reality that you're leaving, and now like, oh my God, I never thought they would leave. I'll be different, I'll change, here's more money, here's this, and they're going to throw all this stuff at you. You have to judge. Are they real or are they not? Did they take advantage of me all these years by not paying it and now they're doing it? That's kind of odd. That's kind of rude. And that's why I find out what happens is this. Do I have a study? No. But being a recruiter for 25 years, running a search firm with other recruiters who place people too, I see this pattern develops. They'll wear you down. So it's not just once they say it. Then they'll get the bigger bosses and other people, and then pressure. And you realize the pressure, it can't be because I'm so awesome. I think because they realize it's a gaping hole that they need to be filled, and it's much easier to offer me a little bit more money to stay than leave, take all the time, take 2, 3, 4 weeks, a month, 2 months, 3 months to find a replacement with all the work building up. Just throw some more money at it. And people who do take that counters, what ends up happening is this. They take the counter offer, but when they were saying all these sweet, nice things, oh, we'll change, we'll be better, we didn't mean it, we didn't know you felt this way, we were going to give you a promotion, we love you, you're great. They'll start to change. As time goes on, and it starts pretty quickly, they're going to start thinking, you know what? Jack must have been, they're going to think every time you were late, you were at lunch, you did something, you were going out and meeting, you know what? Remember when he did this? He was probably interviewed. Oh, he was probably interviewed there. How many other interviews did he go on? Was he really working that hard? Was he always just looking for another job? Did he really care about us? Did he do, you know what? I think he did this just to extort us. Because remember, he was asking for a raise. So this is his way of getting that raise. So in other words, he held us over a barrel. And what's going to happen? Their view of everything is going to change. Their view is now going to be, you purposely got the job, not because you wanted the job. You wanted more money and you wanted to hold us for ransom. And like, if you don't pay me that more money, I'm leaving. And that's going to be their narrative now. So that's their narrative. When it comes to day-to-day work, there's going to be a little resentment. There's going to be this discomfort. They're going to think you held them up for more money. That's going to be what they're going to start to think. That, hey, they treated you really well. They were really nice to you. They gave everything you wanted. But you kind of, you cheated on us. You went out on interviews. You met different people. You didn't tell us you were going to interviews. And you did want that more money, and you were threatening us, is that if you don't give more money, I'm going to leave, and you made us give you more money, and that's going to be how they're thinking. And if that's how they're thinking, how are they going to act to you? They're going to act a little colder. They're not going to be as friendly. They're going to be a little more suspicious. You're going to have to worry every time you come in a little late. Why is he late? Is there another interview? Is he going to look again? If you have to leave early, same thing. If you take a long lunch, they're always going to be a little suspicious. And that's a tough thing to deal with, where they're going to be suspicious of you, and now you're going to start being suspicious of them. Are they going to hold you up from being promoted? Are they going to hold you up from getting really cool assignments? Are they not going to give you the cool tasks that you want to, that would help advance your career? Is it going to be this lingering bad feeling? You ever go into a meeting or you step into a room and you just feel this negative electricity, and it's palpable. No one's saying anything. You feel it. You're going to be faced with that. You're going to have this uncomfortable thing where you're thinking, wow, they're jerks. I accepted the counter offer, and they're just being mean to me and being rotten and being nasty. I should never have done that. And then you're thinking, oh my God, everything I do, I have to worry about everything I say and do, how they can interpret it. And it just gets really uncomfortable. And what I've seen happen after maybe 3 months or so of this, people say, I'm leaving, I'm going to find, and then they go and look again. And the second time around when they look, the job that they may or may not get, if they get another job, because again, we got to look at the market you're in. The market right now is tough. So the job you may get might not be as good as the one that you gave up because you accepted the counteroffer, because you just want to get the hell out of there. So then you leave to get that other job, and it's not as good, but you just want out. And that's not good. So now your career's going backwards. Or what happens too is when you interview and they say why you're looking, and you tell the story, then they're going to think, you went through the rounds of another place only to take a counteroffer. Why am I going to trust you that you're not going to do the same thing here? that you're going to go through all the time and energy, because they're also going to think, oh, you're just going to go and go through all the motions, and there's a chance, not saying you're going to do it, but there's a chance, then maybe you're going to take another counter offer. And in a market where there are a lot of people looking, why would they take that chance of going through, spending all that time and energy crafting an offer? And when you do an offer, it's a lot of work. When an offer is made to somebody, it's not like the person interviewing says, okay, I'm going to go back to my office, write out, here's an offer to Jack Kelly, is this? No. They got to go to their boss, they got to go to HR, to this person, the compensation, this other person has to sign off. I can't tell you how many sign-offs I would have to get for offers. And even if they weren't super senior executives, you would have so many people signing off because they want to make sure everything is legit. So you have so many, so it takes a long time. And it takes a lot of political capital. So if you're saying, hey, I want to hire somebody, and you're getting all these people to jump through hoops to sign off on it and get it done, you got to hope it works out, because everyone else will look at you and go, why'd you make us go through all this when the person just didn't take it? So they're gonna worry if we give an offer and they're going to counteroffer. Our bosses and everybody else who had to jump through hoops to make it happen, you say, well, you knew this person took a counteroffer before. Well, why'd you give it? Did you think they're going to do it again? So when you interview, it's going to be harder when you tell your story about why you're looking. Now, you can interview and lie and not say anything, but it's always awkward when you lie about stuff and you don't say it, because it could come out. Because there are official channels that you could check references, but they're unofficial channels. You know, if you think that it's only official if someone gives a written recommendation, that's what they use, people call around. They shouldn't, they're not supposed to, but they do. They ask around, they sniff around, they find out. Especially if you're in industries that is kind of, not small, but everybody kind of knows each other, they're going to find out. So my suggestion, not all the time, like as I mentioned, a lot of these things I'm just giving big picture. And everybody's life is different. Everybody's financial situation is different. Everyone's career is different. Some people are working, some people are not working, some people are underemployed, some people are doing well. So I'm trying to give a kind of a basic, and you could translate it to how it works to you. Is that if you take that counter offer, and you're really rolling the dice that it's not going to work out well where you are, and you can end up leaving, probably taking a lesser job, and while you're there, it's going to be really stressful, aggravating. You're probably going to jump into something for the sake of jumping into it. But in this market, you might not be able to jump somewhere else, so now you're stuck. So you have to think that through. You have to be really thoughtful and not make any rash decisions, or not cave to that being scared. There's nothing wrong with that. You're scared to leave a job you know to go somewhere else, even if the job isn't great. So by taking the path of least resistance and taking the counter offer, and you got to say to yourself, well, you know what? I know these people. I do get more money, and yeah, I'll stay. Sometimes you're just deceiving yourself. You're talking yourself into it because you were too afraid to move. And when I say that, I don't mean to be hurtful saying it, but that's what happens. We all do that. We all tend not to do certain things because it's easier not to do it and just keep what we're doing. So you want to be intellectually honest with yourself about everything. Now, it could be you get a counter offer for a whole other variety of reasons that's all makes sense. Could be. But in my experience, all the time when you take it, it's because the companies say, oh no, what are we going to do? There's going to be a need. We're not going to find a replacement right away. The other people on the team are going to be up in arms because they're going to have more work to do. Let's just give a few more dollars and keep the person. And that's it. It's not because they love you. It's because they figure it's going to be more of a pain in their butt if you leave than if you stay. And we'll throw a few bucks. We're going to give it anyway when you got a raise. So we'll give it now. So be very careful about it. And then also, to circle back, putting aside the counteroffer, when you leave, you want to leave on good terms. Positive with everybody. I mentioned about talking to your boss and saying, thank you, I appreciate it, I learned so much, I've grown as a professional, I'm going to miss you, I'll help you out in the transition for the 2 weeks as well as when I'm there. But same thing with everybody else. You know, some you could talk to one-on-one, depending on where we are now in this COVID thing. You could send messages to them, but you want to be the bigger person and let them know how much you appreciated working with them. Give personal things of what they've done and how they've helped you and interactions. So when you leave, you keep those connections, because that's really important for a career. You want to gather them. You don't want to just say, you know what, this was a bad experience with this company. I'm out of here. I don't want to think about them. I'm gone. A lot of people do that. And you may feel that way, but don't. Suck it up. Be the bigger person. For the person who talked too loud on the phone, the person who stole your lunch, the person who gossiped, doesn't matter. Hey, thank you. It was great getting to know you. Let's stay in touch, exchange numbers, and so on. Because you never know when you need them. And maybe the guy who ate your lunch, he really didn't know it was yours. And all this time you hated him, and he was angry at you because thinking, why does Jack hate me so much? I don't get it. Because it turns out someone else ate the lunch. So you don't know. So you might as well keep the relationships. Look at the positive things. Don't look for problems. Look for positives. So this way, a year later, 2 years later, you still have all these people in your network. Now you have a whole new network with all the new people you met. And then you keep growing and growing and growing. So at a time when you need it, whether it's looking for a job or looking for, whatever, you're cultivating a big network. So leave gracefully. A lot of people, we talked about this in a different seminar. A lot of people would say when they leave, would be like, they'll tell you, yeah, just get out of there. Screw them. You don't owe them anything. Leave. What do you got to stay 2 weeks for? Just go. Leave. Why do you got to help out? If they call you the other firm, you got a job to do. No, don't listen. Bad advice. Be a professional. Think long term. Think strategically. Don't let emotions cloud your judgment. It's not personal. It's business. And move forward and do all the right things. And again, congratulations, because you know what? Even if you got the offer, you got a counter offer, at least they cared enough to try to keep you. Let's say even if their motivations weren't all pure, at least they tried. Shows they care a little bit, as opposed to saying, bye, take care later. So at least look at it from the framework of, okay, at least they offered. That was kind of nice of them. Not taking it, but that was nice. So you had the offer, and it shows you counter offer. And then you could use it down the road too. You could even say to the new company, wow, I just want to let you know they put so much pressure on me to stay. Oh my gosh. The manager, the management, the boss, the president of this division, but you know what? I told them that I appreciate everything done, but I gave my word to you, to the new company, and I honor my word. And even though they gave me a nice counter, I had to walk away because ethically I gave you my word. Now the company is going to be like, wow, we made the right decision. Because now they can even think higher of you because they were fighting to keep you. So they're going to think we did like Jack to begin with, but now I didn't realize this. Wow. First of all, he's ethical. He gave his word and he stuck by it, so that he's presuming he's going to do that when he's with us. And it shows that he's really good because they tried hard to keep him. So now you're coming in like a rock star. I would even then say this, I would even say to the company, the new company, I'll say, hey, during this 2 weeks, I'm going to help out my company, but feel free, if there's anything you want me to study up on, anything you want me to learn, anything I should do, so when I come in I could hit the ground running, let me know. I'll be glad to do it. Now, the odds are the company will say, no, that's okay. Take it easy, do the 2 weeks, maybe see if you can get a little time off so when you come in here you are well rested. And maybe even if you want, instead of go right after 2 weeks, take a week, chill, take a vacation, take a staycation. But they're going to have a good impression. You're going to think, wow, person got a counter offer, shows that they really like the person. Person didn't take it because they made a commitment. That's the kind of credibility they have. That's the kind of person they are. Plus, they're now saying, hey, do you want me to do some work while I'm not even working there, just to get up and running? And they can say, wow. Chances are they can say, no, don't worry about it. We appreciate it. Just take it easy, decompress. You come here all charged up. But they can think, wow, that was a really good move on their part. They're saying, hey, he's really saying, hey, anything I could do and work for you when I'm not even there. So you've really positioned yourself when you come to this place as not only can you do the job, but now they have even much more respect for you. And that's going to go a long way. And it's all about being professional, doing the right thing, treating people the way you like to be treated. So it's really nothing crazy, nothing hard to do, nothing fancy, but just focusing on doing that. So if you're in this position, then that's great. Congratulations on the offer. Congratulations on the job. Congratulations that at least they tried to keep you. So that got to make you feel good. And congratulations because you now made yourself look like a rock star to the new company.